On Netflix, I watched from 1983 Scarface, the stylish remake of, I believe it's a Howard Hawks film, dedicated to him at the end here, starring Al Pacino, Michelle Pfeiffer, and I'm sure some other people. So, I hadn't seen this movie all the way through before, and a lot of times when I say that, it's because I want to experience the film in its theatrical release, rather than some cut-up version as seen on cable. And that's how I'd mostly seen Scarface in the past. But you got this guy, Tony Montana. Hell, he probably made up his last name, because what kind of Cuban name is Montana? A political prisoner set free from Cuba onto Miami-Dade County, Florida. He's being grilled by the police as he comes in through immigration. And I never really picked up on this, but he has a scar on his face, like kind of running across his head, over the eyebrow, down cheek a little bit. Allergies. I'm sure Tony Montana had some allergies too. And it's like, okay, are we gonna call him Scarface? Nope. No one ever says Scarface. But I'll tell you this, if you learn anything from this review, it's gonna be this. That scar he has, coming down over the eyebrows, what kind of people shave a little bit of an eyebrow, huh? It's supposed to be like some kind of gang symbol among the Latinos, saying that they killed somebody. They got that idea from Scarface. This is a very popular movie with gangsters. You know, every rapper has the poster on his wall in his crib on MTV. Oddly enough, and stupidly, Netflix doesn't have the poster representing this movie. They just have some generic still of Al Pacino in Latino face. And that's the thing, almost everybody Latino in this movie ain't Latino. There may be actually one Latino with a prominent role, well, kind of, has a few lines, and that's Tony Montana's mom. Anyways, he's got this buddy, Stephen Bauer, who sets him up with a job to get a green card to get out of the holding area. They have to kill some guy, knife him, that's that. And he starts making his way up the drug cartel chain here. There's this guy, Lopez, Robert Loggia. He's like the, some car guy, some car dealer in Miami, luxury cars. But he mostly sells cocaine, and he has to go get some supplies done. F. Murray Abraham and Al Pacino head over to Bolivia, talk to this guy Sosa. Sosa's informant guy says, well, his guy says that F. Murray Abraham's an informant for the FBI, has him hung. Tony's like, hey, I'm not, you know, this guy Lopez has that kind of people around him. He's got some problems, you know. Don't worry about him. I'll supersede him. And eventually he does. You know, he works a few different weird, odd jobs here and there, backtracking some. But there's this guy who gets cut up by a chainsaw when this one deal goes bad, and it looks like F. Murray Abraham may have screwed the pooch on it, intentionally try to get him out of the way. Kills this guy Angel. I forgot the name of the actor, but he's in this movie that last I saw it was on Netflix called Man from Nowhere, and he's a detective. And the main chick in that movie is the daughter of Steven Seagal. And it's a pretty good little mystery thriller. Check it out. So anyways, Tony tries to rise up the ranks. Has the hots for Michelle Pfeiffer, plays Elvira, the girl of Lopez. And it seems like as through the months, mostly off camera, they seem to be mingling some. And eventually, Tony is kind of separated from Lopez for trying to work this big deal out with Sosa that he can't really back. And he's like, hey, I'm working for myself now. And then the cops are coming down on Tony. He thinks Lopez sold him out. He kills Lopez, kills a cop even for trying to extort him. You know, for protection. Gets rid of him too. And then Tony's the king of the crop in Miami. He's got all the money, push it to the limit. The world is yours. It actually says that the world is yours in this Pan Am advertisement. And then Tony adopts that. Gets a tiger, gets a house, probably not in that order. At one point he's looking at a Porsche 928. Seems to buy it but never drives it. Now that's power right there. Hey, I got the fanciest car around, don't even drive it. There's a lot of catchphrases throughout this movie, a lot of very quotable lines, some that people don't even seem to mention. Of course, there's "say hello to my little friend." I think there's something like "Chico, get the yayo." There's actually just a ton of things. One thing that really sets Tony off is if anybody puts movies on his sister. His main buddy, Stephen Bauer, Manny, seems to be interested in her, Gina. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, whatever. Tony don't like this, don't want anybody with her. Eventually, there's this guy speaking on 60 Minutes, going around the news talking about ending the drug war, and there's actually some really controversial ideas here. That the U.S. can't win the drug war, may as well give up, make it legal, and then it'll be safer. That's something you hear today. Mentioned 1983 in Scarface. Now, this is a remake. I hadn't seen the original, but I'm sure it's quite different. Has to be tonally, surely more violent. Surely it doesn't deal with Cuban. It's coming to America and being drug lords. Surely it doesn't work that angle, right? But this is a very stylish film. I like the score from Giorgio Moroder. I will oftentimes check out a movie based on who did the score. And so I'd kind of been looking to get to this eventually, because Giorgio Moroder is probably my favorite film composer. So anyhow, eventually Tony is tasked with taking out this guy who's speaking to the world about the drug situation. But in the process of doing this, he's got this car bomb going to blow up the guy in front of the United Nations building. Backs out of it because his family's in there. He's got a wife and kids, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not doing this." Kills the guy that was going to blow up the bomb, and now Sosa's after him. Just everything's unraveling. His wife left him. He's looking for his buddy Manny. Can't find him. Heads over to where his sister Gina seems to be living, who answers the door of Manny, and then he sees Gina in lingerie, and he's like, "Oh no." Boom. Kills Manny right there. And then she's like, "We got married during the weekend. We were going to surprise you." Tony really seems to regret this. He sees his whole world crumbling. He's got surveillance cameras up, but he just doesn't care. This guy Sosa, for betraying him, backing out of this situation, has sent like an army to go take out Tony. There's this guy just storming the fortress like commando. And Tony's guards are few, outnumbered easily. Tony just has like an epic amount of cocaine on this table, just like snorts like $1 million worth. "Say hello, my little friend." Pulls out, I guess maybe it's an M16 with an RPG attachment. Blows the door open, starts shooting guys. Seems to be impervious to fire, and then gets shot in the back by the main guy of Sosa. You know, falls down dead. That's it. Cautionary tale for all of you hip-hop moguls. You know, you get into the drugs, look at all the glamour. You got the money, you got the power, then you get the women, something like that. You know, look where it got him. There were some other people giving him word of caution earlier, saying, "Hey, those who try to take over the world, they're the ones who don't last." That's what he tried to do. You know, I wouldn't say this movie's perfect. I think it has some issues. At some points, it's hard to tell if it's taking itself seriously or if it's supposed to be kind of played up for laughs. In places, it may not be the most compelling film ever, but you know, this is a pretty good gangster crime film, and I'll give Scarface 1983 3 out of 4 stars.